Good morning, all of you. I welcome you all for this third day session of this FDP. Today we have Ms. Ashna for the speaker of the day. I take pleasure in introducing her to this forum. Ms. Ashna completed her MTech in Signal Processing from Rajagiri School of Engineering and Technology and joined Robert Bosch later after that. So having 2 years experience, her area of interest includes image processing, natural language processing, and computer vision. The projects that she is working on are automatic number plate recognition, optimizing computer vision algorithms for hardware, and so on. So we now welcome Ashna Madam to take over this session. Ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for that introduction. Good morning, everyone. So before starting the session, I would like to know whether everyone have Python installed in your laptops. Okay, for those who have not installed, I will share you a link for Anaconda installation. So while listening to the session, can you just install this Anaconda? I've shared another link also. Using that link, you can create a virtual environment. Why I prefer using virtual environment is because like for different codes we need different versions of packages. So if you install Python and various packages in the root itself, then you will be later on getting version problems. So it will be always better to keep a virtual environment and do your programs in that environment, so that like later on if you don't want that environment, we can remove that environment. Okay, so can I start the session?
Yes, madam, start.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you tell me once my screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am. The presentation you have not loaded yet.
Okay, fine. Can you see the screen now?
There is a black screen, ma'am. Blank black screen.
Okay. Is it visible now?
No, ma'am. Only the blank presentation screen is not visible. It's blank, black in color.
Oh.
Your presentation is not opened, I think.
Yeah, I have opened my presentation.
No, ma'am. Here we are able to see only a.
Still that black screen is only visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Then I will share my slide with you. Can you just present?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, sure. Gomati ma'am, I have sent a mail to you. Gomati ma'am, did you get my mail?
I'm just downloading it. I'll present it.
Okay.
Few minutes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
So are you able to see the screen, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, we are able to see.
Ma'am, just a second, ma'am.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in today's session, I will be discussing about machine learning in Python. So first, I will start with a basic introduction, like what is artificial intelligence, what is machine learning, and what is deep learning. Everyone will might have heard about these words. So just I will be giving a brief introduction to all these things. So artificial intelligence means getting a computer to mimic human behavior in some way. Ma'am, can you go to that third slide? Okay. And machine learning is actually a subset of artificial intelligence. It consists of techniques that enable computers to figure out things from the data and deliver AI applications. And deep learning is again a subset of machine learning in which the computers are able to handle more complex problems. And for machine learning, the main difference between machine learning and deep learning is in the amount of data set which is needed. For machine learning, we need only small data sets, whereas for deep learning, we need millions and millions of data sets. And there are a wide variety of applications for AI. Some of these applications include recommendation engines. For example, in YouTube, Netflix, etc. Based on our search history, they will be suggesting new videos. Then comes the facial recognition. For example, in our phones, when it sees the camera sees our face, the phone gets unlocked. All these applications of AI. Then comes product recommendation. For example, in Amazon, Flipkart, etc. Based on our search history, they will be suggesting new products for us. Then comes video surveillance and self-driving cars. Self-driving cars, like you might have heard many news, like in different western countries, they are trying new methods. Like now for buses also, it is self-driving. So every day some new developments are happening in this area. Then come, ma'am, next slide. Okay. Okay, so first I will be discussing about the regression. Regression algorithm actually predicts continuous values based on the input variables. The main aim of regression algorithm is to find a mapping function between the input and output variables. So here the output variables will be continuous. For example, if our output variables like includes the height, weight, etc., all these are continuous values. We can't say someone's height is only 155 centimeter or 156 centimeter. It can be 155 point some values will be there. So that is continuous values. So in all those cases, we will be using regression algorithms. Whenever our output is having continuous values, then we'll be using regression algorithms. And there are many different regression algorithms, which include simple linear regression, multiple linear regression, polynomial regression, etc. In simple linear regression, we will be having one independent variable and one dependent variable. And we'll be using a straight line to converge that algorithm. Multiple linear regression is actually an extension of simple linear regression. Here we'll be having a dependent variable and two or more independent variables. Similarly, polynomial regression, we will be finding a nonlinear relationship. So in today's session, I will be discussing about simple linear regression. So as you can see in the screen, there is an equation called as y is equal to b0 plus b1x1. This is similar to the equation we have learned in max, y is equal to mx plus c. So here y is the dependent variable. This we are trying to predict this dependent variable. And see in the figure, like for example, suppose that this is a graph based on the salary and year of experience. So x-axis is the year of experience and y-axis is the salary. Our salary for next 1 year based on the year of experience. So in that case, the equation will be salary is equal to b0 plus b1 into year of experience. Okay, so here suppose,
Ma'am, just a minute.
yeah, yeah.
Ma'am, I'll just represent it again. A few minutes.
Okay, okay.
Is this visible, ma'am?
Like it's getting presented. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's visible now.
Okay.
Okay, so B0 is actually in the graph, you can see B0 is the point where the line crosses a vertical axis. For example, suppose this y-axis is a salary in dollar. When the year of experience is 0, a person is getting $10. That means the equation will be salaries, as I have already mentioned, salary is equal to B0 plus B1 into experience. So that B1 value is a coefficient. Here in our case now B1 will be 0, which means salary is equal to 10. So that is how this algorithm is working. And the main aim is to find a straight line that best fits the model. For example, consider a point like there is shown like regression line is shown like okay, consider that error term written, that point with respect to the line. So that point, yeah, where that mouse is kept, na, that point, consider like in our data the point is in this position, but according to our model that should be there in that somewhere in that straight line. So what it does is like it will find the distance between that line and the point, that is called as the error term, and we will be squaring that term. We'll be doing this for all these points, like all this distance between all these points with respect to the line will be calculated, and then we will be taking the square, and finally we will be adding all those squares, and we have to find a line in such a way that that error is minimized. So basically simple linear regression, what it does is it will draw lots and lots of such lines, and for each of these line it will be calculating that distance, square them, and then add it, and the line which is giving the least that value, that will be the best fitting line. This is how linear regression is working. For the implementation we don't have to understand all these like how it is working, because in Python we'll be having a function like class called as linear regression. We will be calling it in for our data set, and it will be predicting on its own. So we don't have to implement like these all these error, we don't have to personally calculate all these error terms. So this is only for the basic understanding. So should I now do the lab experiment, or once I complete all these slides and then I should do the experiment, ma'am?
Ma'am, I'm a participant.
Okay.
Yeah, can you please proceed and let us have it at the last, ma'am?
Okay, sure, fine.
Thank you.
Okay, so next is the decision tree. This is belongs to a classification algorithm. So classification model means here also we'll be having many datas, and the final result is like all these data will be belonging to any of the classes. For example, suppose consider a dog versus cat example. We'll be having many cat and dog images, and we will be training our network. And finally, we will be giving one, either suppose we give a cat image to the network should predict that it is a cat. That is classification algorithm. That means like all the data will be belonging to any of the classes. In deep learning we have many algorithms which includes ResNet, VGG, etc., but I am not going into that portion. I am considering only machine learning algorithm. So in machine learning we have decision trees, random forest, etc. In that I am considering decision trees. This decision tree is somewhat similar to if else loop in our programming. Like we have, if certain condition is satisfied, then set of statements will be executed, else another set of statements will be executed. That is, it is similar to decision tree. So here we will be having a decision node where we will be taking a decision. Based on that it will be going to two other nodes, and in each of the node we will be again making a decision, and based on that finally we will be getting a result. Ma'am, can you go to next slide? Okay, so here this is an example. We have a refund, marital status, taxable income, and cheat. So what we will be doing is like first we'll be considering the refund, whether a person got a refund or not. If yes, like we can see when the refund is yes, the cheat is no in that table. So we can see when the refund is yes, then the final result will be no, and there that gets stopped. If the refund is no, then we will be going and considering the next marital status. We'll be checking whether it is no or yes for single, married, and divorced. So here in the table we can see for married, that cheat will be no. So if the for the married it will be no, and for single and divorced we will be again considering the taxable income. If the taxable income is less than 80,000, then it will be no, and if the taxable income is greater than 80,000, it will be yes. This is a decision tree algorithm. Okay, then comes the clustering algorithm. So in clustering algorithm, what we'll be doing is like we'll be splitting the data points into different groups so that all the data points in a particular group will be having same features, while two different groups will be having different properties. So that is clustering. And one such algorithm is called as k-means clustering. So here we are having XY graph, we are having some data points. So after k-means algorithm, we will be able to cluster it as shown in the figure. Ma'am, can you go to next step? Next slide. Okay, this shows the steps of k-means algorithm. So I will first explain it with respect to this figure. In the first figure, like it shows some red circles and plain circles. This shows some data points. So what we have to do is, first we have to decide how many clusters we should choose. So here they have chosen clusters equal to 2. For example, if we have 40 data points, then maximum we can have 40 clusters. So here I am choosing k is equal to that number of clusters is equal to 2. Then what we have to do is, for each cluster, that one cluster is shown in red portion and other is shown in that plain white circles. Next thing we have to do is we have to randomly initialize a centroid. So that is shown as a red triangle and that plain white triangle. So that is randomly initialized. Now what we have to do is we have to calculate the each of the distance between each of the circle with respect to the centroid. Red circle with respect to red centroid, red circle with respect to white centroid. Like that distance should be calculated. And which distance is minimum, like that will be belonging to that particular centroid. For example, if we consider this red data point, and if we calculate the distance between this red data point with respect to the centroid, and that distance is minimum, which means that this data set belongs to this particular cluster. That is what this first figure is showing. That is a step number 3. Now next what we have to do is we have to move the centroid in such a, it's based on the center of mass. So that is shown in the second figure. In the second figure we can see the position of, no ma'am, that same figure, k means clustering example, second figure, yeah. Here what it is showing is like that the centroid has moved its position. It is moved based on the center of mass. Then again what we have to do is we have to calculate the distance between each of these data points with respect to the centroid, and again we will be classifying. So here in the first figure we can see it's like two data points were in near to that straight line, that is was there in the white cluster. But when it comes to the second figure, it becomes the belongs to that red cluster. So that is how that clustering changes. It is calculated based on the distance between each of the centroid with respect to the data point. Similarly, we will be repeating the algorithm, and finally, when there is no more movement, at that time the algorithm model is ready. This is how the k-means algorithm is working. But there is one problem with k-means algorithm, that is like we are initializing the centroid randomly. So if it that cluster, how that it is getting clustered, that depends on the random initialization of centroids. So to overcome that problem, we have another algorithm called as k-means plus plus. But the one advantage with Python is we don't have to implement k-means plus plus algorithm. While implementing k-means, we'll be just giving this k-means plus plus as a parameter that I will show you in the lab session. So it will be automatically doing the initialization process. Now next question which comes in k-means clustering is how many clusters we should choose. Ma'am, can you go to next slide? Okay, so this is the elbow method. We will be deciding it based on the this method called as elbow method. What it is does is like we will be having number of clusters, and we will be having WCSS. This WCSS means within cluster sum of squares. That is early in k-means algorithm I have told like we have to calculate the distance between each of the data point with respect to the centroid. So we will be calculating that distance for each of these clusters, and that WCSS value should be minimum. So in this graph, we can see when we are having one cluster, the WCSS value is highest. As the number of clusters increases, the WCS value is decreasing. And till when you see number of clusters as 5, we are having an elbow shape there. So which means that 5 is the optimal number of cluster. That is how we are deciding like what should be the number of clusters. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So I was prepared to show the demo of these three slides, these three methods. Now we can go to the lab session. Is there Anaconda installation complete for everyone?
Ma'am, is the presentation over? Shall I stop it?
Yeah, you can stop it.
Ma'am, while installing the Anaconda,
Yeah.
I'm getting a warning saying that destination folder contains 3 spaces. This can cause problems with several Conda packages. Please consider removing spaces. I'm installing a Windows 64 system.
Okay. Like, is there any memory issue?
No,
Usually,
ma'am.
such
I have 380 GB available in C drive.
Okay, okay. Then no problem. I think there won't be any problem.
Okay. So register.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
Or actually, whenever you are giving the installation path, the folder name should not contain any space.
Folder name it is automatically given, sir. Actually, it is Anaconda 3. That directly it is given Anaconda 3 without any. Acha. Oh, got it, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I got it. Thank you, sir.
Ashna ma'am, if there is a problem for the things getting installed, can it be well if we use Google Colab, ma'am?
Yeah, Google Colab also can be used.
I
And
think
that data, I guess everyone have that data set also. That data set also should be uploaded to the Colab, like to your drive.
so. You've got your Arun, Arun Prakash sir.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Can you make the data set available so that everybody can share? Like, ma'am is telling some data set is available in her drive, it seems. So, any discussions on?
Okay, ma'am. I will set up the data set in my drive and I share the link.
Yeah.
So let them use it.
Yeah. Ma'am, is that okay, ma'am? If the data set is shared, can everybody do it in Colab, ma'am? Google Colab, ma'am? Will that be fine?
Yeah, that will be fine.
Yeah, because like installation, some people would get problem or so. Like Google Colab, I think it could be solved. Yes, Arun?
Okay.
Will that be okay?
Yes, ma'am. I will do it in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Arun. Thank you.
Okay.
So, ma'am, should we stop this installation or what do we do?
There is no problem in your installation. I think you can carry on with that. But sometimes we'll be having some problems. So I think Google Colab will assist. It will be better using that. Ashna ma'am, can you help him in answering?
Yeah, Arun, so like if there's no problem with your installation, then you can go with your installation. So later on also you can try in your personal laptop, like without internet also you can try it. If there's some
Okay,
problem
thank
with
you.
installation, then you can go with Colab.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Ma'am, I got installed and it says cmd.exe is open now.
Okay.
And
That Anaconda installation is done now.
yeah, Anaconda installation is done and now I am in the window cmd.exe.
Okay. Then can you go and install the virtual environment, that second link which I have shared?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Ashna ma'am, I think while lab session, you can present your screen and then you'll be able to do it. Yes, ma'am?
Yeah, okay, ma'am.
Okay. Arul sir, if there is a problem in installation, like you can execute the code in Google Colab. So we shall wait. If the installation is not a problem, you can carry with the installation. Else, the Arun is extracting the data files for us so that we'll be able to use it in the Google Colab, sir.
Okay, ma'am. I'm proceeding with the installation. I mean,
Yeah.
it is in process. I'll let you know.
Okay. Yeah, ma'am. You able to see your screen, Ashna, ma'am? But I think you can zoom it. Ashna ma'am? Ashna ma'am?
Okay, can you hear me, ma'am?
Ma'am, one small suggestion, ma'am. Like one of our faculty is like extracting the. He's creating a setup for the participants to work it on it. So I request you to like
Okay.
explain the procedure and the demo. You can show the demo of this code, ma'am. And
Okay,
after
ma'am.
this, he will be sharing the link so that everybody can work it on that and see, ma'am. Is that okay, ma'am?
Okay, ma'am.
You
Yeah,
can
okay,
just go over the line of the codes and then you can explain in the Google Colab how you can show the demo on the Google Colab. And once they understand, by that time that our faculty will produce all the links so that they'll be also able to work it out and see. Okay, ma'am?
Okay, ma'am, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will start with simple linear regression. So first, what we have to do is we have to import all the libraries which we need. So NumPy library is used to work with arrays. Matplotlib is used when we have to plot some charts and all. And Pandas is used to upload the data set. So first, what we have to do is we have to import the data set. For to import the data set, what we are doing is we are using this Pandas library, and that library is having a function called as read CSV. And inside as a like inside the brackets we have to give the name of the data set. So that data set I will show you. Okay, so this is the data set. Here we are having the year of experience and the salary. So this year of, like salary is the dependent variable, so we will be predicting the salary with respect to the year of experience. And then we will be importing all the data set, and y is our dependent variable, x is our independent variable. So from this data set we have to extract this year of experience as y variable and salary as a y variable. So for that we are having a function called as ilog. It is used to find all the indices. So here we have in the x variable we should have all the values except the last column. So that is why we are giving here is -1. What it will be doing is it will be extracting all the rows and all columns except the final column. And in the y variable we need the last column only. So that's why we are giving here is -1. Then what we are doing is we will be splitting the data set into training and test set. Usually, if like 80% will be for the training set and 20% will be for the test set. So for that, we are using a library from sklearn that means test split. And here what we'll be doing is we will be splitting it as x train and x
Ashna,
test
ma'am,
and y
excuse
train.
me.
Yeah.
You can just scroll down the code, ma'am. We're not able to see it. You can just scroll down
You
the
can.
screen.
I'm scrolling down. Can you see now? Splitting the data set.
No, ma'am.
What can you see? The importing the data set and all.
We have the importing the data set, only that. It is there still.
Okay, okay.
After
Yes,
the
it will
library
take some time.
importing the data set is only there.
Gomati ma'am, is it visible now?
Uh, Yes, ma'am, but we're not able to see your screen, ma'am. Like, okay, we're not able to get the. Yes, ma'am. Try going to that page, ma'am. The program page, whatever you have done earlier.
Program page is open now.
No, it is like you are presenting your screen. You're not click that particular page.
Okay, 1 minute. The page visible now?
It's just you are presenting your screen. It just come like that. We are not able to see the screen.
Okay. What are you able to see now?
Ma'am, go to the change the tab. Click on the tab simple linear regression, that tab, so that you'll be able to see that.
Okay. Now is it visible?
No.
Okay.
Just click on the tab. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Now, okay. Yeah.
Okay. Now can you see the data set into training set and test set?
We have got only 2 lines, like first the importing the library and importing the data set. So after that, you need to scroll down and explain us.
Okay, I have scrolled down. I guess it will take some time.
Ma'am, if possible, share this source code so that it will be helpful for us. Parallelly, we can
Sure.
also go through it.
Okay.
Otherwise, typing it, lot of error will come.
Okay, sure.
Now we are able to see the next part, ma'am.
Okay. 1 minute, I'm sharing all this code.
Okay.
Gomati ma'am, I have shared that codes with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can I continue with explaining the code?
Ma'am, you continue explaining the code. Meanwhile, I'll be passing on to their
Okay.
everything, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am, sure. So we have another package in Python which is called as sklearn. In sklearn, we have a particular function called as train split. So what we are doing is we will be calling that function called as train split, and we will be passing our x and y parameters which we have defined earlier. And the test size equal to 1/3, which means our data set consists of total 30 values. And out of this, 1/3 will be training, 1/3 will be used for testing, and the rest will be used for training, which means out of 30, the training set contains 20 and test set contains of 10. And we are giving this random state equal to 0. Why we are giving this random state is equal to 0? Because it will be randomly splitting the test and train set. It will be always good to give random state as 0. Why? Because if we are continuously, like for this data set, suppose first 20 we are giving us train for training and rest and giving for testing, the algorithm will be trying to find some patterns in this data set. So suppose in our data set, if it is first the order is year of experience 1, 2, 3, like that, then what it will be doing is it will be like, okay, after 1 comes it will be 2, then we suddenly we give experiences 10, the network will not be able to predict properly. So it will be always good to give random state equal to 0 so that splitting will be done randomly. And we are giving it to x train, x test, y train, y test, which means in our data set we have years of experience and salary. This year of experience is x value and salary is y value. So we have to split, like suppose if for this year of experience till 20 we are using for training, which means we are having x values and y values. So inside x percent we are using for training, that will be x train, and the rest x values will be x test. Similarly, for salary also we are having Y train and Y test. So that is done in split the data set into train set and test set. Now what we have to do is we have to load a regression algorithm. So for that, inside sklearn we are having a function called linear regression. So whenever you are having like this particular function exists, what you have to do is we can just go and search in Google sklearn. So we'll be coming to a page called as sklearn. Inside that we have to go to API. And then we can simply search whether any function is there or linear regression. So it will be taking us to that particular function. And if we open that function, it will be all those parameters, like what all parameters we have to give. So like that, so this way you can easily code. So we are importing the linear regression function here, and we are passing that to another variable called as regressor. And in the next step, what we are doing is we are training. For training, what we are doing, we are using a command called as fit. So this regressor dot fit x train y train, what it's doing is it will be training our network based on the training set. So once complete, we will be predicting the result. For that, we are having X test. We have defined our test variables. So what we will be doing is we will be giving all those X test variables to the predict function, and that value will be given in Y predict. Now, can you see visualizing the training set results?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then it will take some time. Ma'am, is visible now?
Yeah, ma'am, we are able to see, but not fully.
Okay. Okay, so here we are now visualizing the training results. So for that, I have already told we have a function called matplotlib. Using that function, we can plot the graphs. So what we doing is like all the points, X train and Y train, we will be plotting, and we are giving the color as red. So that is what we are seeing in this figure. That all these red points are the points in our data set, and then we are plotting our regression line also. That using that regression plot predict X train that is shown in this blue color. So this is how our training set looks like. Similarly, for the test set, we'll be having the same portion, except like we'll be training the X train and Y train to X test and Y test. Rest all the codes are same, and we'll be getting the test result for the test set. Padmasree sir, is my audio clear now? Okay, so I will explain that thing once again. For training, I have just explained how how we can plot the training set result. The same code we can copy, and the only thing which we have to change is instead of X train and Y train, we have to replace it X test and Y test, and then we will be able to plot for the test data.
Madam, can you lighten whenever you are classifying it, like X train and Y train, what are the algorithms you are taking to train the data set, to differentiate the data set?
Okay. We are using a function called as train test split. This function is there in SQL library. This what we have to give is like we have to just give some parameters like what should like from where it should take the X and Y variables, and what should be the training and test set sizes. That are the parameters we should give. Based on that, it will be splitting automatically.
Okay, what are the different attributes using which we can fine tune those parameters? I mean, like preparing the data set, there are different things like preparing the null values. I know in your data set null values are not there, but still, if in some database, if you are getting null values, how to remove those null values, like pre-processing the data. Can you address those points?
Okay.
If possible,
So
please.
processing. Okay. So pre-processing.
Hello,
Like there are many.
ma'am,
Hello.
voice is cutting.
Okay, can you hear now properly?
Yeah. Now it's okay. Earlier we were not able to hear anything.
Okay, fine. We have to, like, first of all, what we have to do is we have to clearly understand whether our data set is proper or not. If there are some huge differences between the values, then we have to normalize the data set. That is one way of pre-processing. That is, we have to find the mean of the data set, standard deviation, and then each feature we should subtract it with the mean and divide by standard deviation, so that all those features will be somewhat in the same range. I will show one such algorithm. Like in decision tree or k-means, we'll be using that dividing and subtracting using mean and standard deviation. That is one way of pre-processing. That is the most frequently used method of pre-processing.
Madam, your voice is breaking.
Ashna ma'am,
Okay.
can you hear me? This is Gomati.
Yeah, I can hear you, ma'am.
Ma'am, one of our faculty will just for 5 minutes, he will tell how to use the Colab, ma'am, so that the participants can also execute the code. Is that fine for you, ma'am?
Yeah, it's fine for me, ma'am.
Yeah, that will be better.
Just 5 minutes, ma'am. He will just tell how to use the Colab, and he has extracted all the data set, everything, whatever you have given, so that they'll also,
Okay.
after 5 minutes of explanation, let everybody can, when you present it on the screen, let everybody can go through with the code. Is that fine, ma'am? Ashna, ma'am?
Okay. Yeah, it's fine. It's
Yeah,
fine.
ma'am. If you can just stop sharing, Mr. Arun Prakash will share his screen,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
you can please
Yeah,
send that
sure.
files through email. Then we can
I've also
download it.
sent, ma'am. I've also sent, ma'am. You can just
Okay,
check
thank
now.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Arun Prakash here. Arun Prakash sir, I think you can now share and explain the things.
Yes, ma'am. I have shared my
Yeah.
Google
Yeah.
Chrome tab. I hope this is visible to all of them.
Yes, Arun.
Good, good morning to all. So here is the code. So I hope you just go to Google and type Google Colab. So it will lead to the respective website. So you just click on the site. So you will see a file like this. So here is a code to download the data set. So we have 3 data sets, right? So one is the mall underscore customer.csv. All of them are .csv file. So I have shared the code in the WhatsApp group. So you just download the code. There you click on the file. So it will ask you to, one of the option is upload the notebook. So you just click on it. So maybe you are not able to see that window right now. So you just click on the upload the file and choose the file. So once if you choose the respective file, say we have 4 files now. So 3 of the files are shared by the guest speaker, and one is ml_day3. So you just open the file in the Google Colab. So once you open the file titled ml_day3, so it will show something like this. Okay. So while you open a Google Colab, there will be one option here that I am highlighting here as connect. So first you click on that option connect, which will connect with the cloud server, Google Cloud Server. So you will see something like this highlighted RAM. So you just pay attention on the top right corner. So if the Colab successfully connected with the remote server, it will show you a tick mark with RAM and disk, which means your setup is now ready to run. You can execute the code. Okay. So once if you've done this, if you ensure that you are successfully connected with the remote server, you can start executing these cells. So
Can
you
you
just
repeat it, sir?
From which point, ma'am?
How to upload?
Okay, how to upload? So you just click on this file, ma'am, the option file, and then there is an option called upload notebook, and then you just click on upload notebook. So there there will be many options. So you can choose to upload the file from your local system. Are you able to see the presentation now? There is an option called as choose file.
Yes.
So you just click on the choose file. So You have the files in your local system, downloaded files in your local system. You might have kept it in your desktop, documents, or downloads, wherever it is. You just click the respective file which you want to open it. And then if you just click on the file and click open, it will open the respective files. So one of the file is to download the data. So I have posted this code in the WhatsApp group. The name of the file is ml_day3, which will assist you to download the 3 data sets posted by the guest speaker. Are you able to follow up to this point, everyone?
Okay, sir. ML day 3 is there in the WhatsApp group, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So if there are any issues, you can just post your comment in the chat box so that I can proceed to the next step. Otherwise, I will just proceed now.
So we will first do this, and then further you can explain that.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Fine.
Arun, I think you can also ask Ashna ma'am to also coordinate among with you here. Ashna ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
like I think you can, if you want to explain the code here way, I think you can also go explaining the code. Is it?
Yeah,
Arun?
yeah. Fine.
Ma'am, so my request is that, so once if you open this file, you just need to copy the code from this file. Ma'am, I think I'm hearing the echo of my voice. Okay, so you just open this file and copy the codes. So you need to copy the codes from cell number 4 and then cell number 7 and then cell number 8 and paste it in the Asha ma'am's file. Okay, so just to assist you to download this data set. So you just directly copy all the codes from cell number 4. Okay, so the variable mall will contain the mall_customer data set. Similarly, the variable salary here will contain salary_data.csv data set. So we just extracted all this and assigned this to the variable. Maybe you can just comment out this line social.head if you want. Okay, so as a quick summary, so you just download this file and you connect with the remote server until you connected with the remote server so that it will show you.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
From the WhatsApp mlday3.jpynb, I couldn't open and paste the code, sir. Copy the code.
Ma'am, you cannot open the file by directly clicking on it. You first open Colab.
Okay.
And then you go to file and then you choose upload notebook.
File and upload notebook.
Yes.
Okay.
If you click on it, it will ask you to open the file from your local location.
Okay.
Then you just click the ml_day3, it will open the file in Google Colab.
Yeah, but then it's not allowing me to directly open from the WhatsApp, right? I need to save the file and.
Yes, you have to download the file and keep it in the local system somewhere, and then you have to upload it to the Google Colab.
But then if I click it to save to my system, it is asking with what app you want to open the file, like that. Open with, it is asking me open with option.
Ma'am, you don't do that. You just untick it. You just cancel that option, because by default it will ask you like that if the setting is like that. So you just ignore it and save the file.
Yeah, I'll try and once more and I'll let you know, sir.
Okay, ma'am. So I believe for the rest of you, you have opened the file. and then you have connected with the remote server. Okay, so once if you successfully connect with the remote server, then you can start executing these cells. I think you are able to see that. So once if you choose the cell, it will highlight the cell that currently I am in. So if you just click on display icon to execute that cell. So once if you execute that cell, so it will show, it will download the file from my Google Drive and then save that file to the variable mall. So same thing is repeated for other two data sets. So once if this is successful, means you have successfully loaded the data set from the remote server.
Sir, which file I have to open now? We have 3 files, no? Sorry, I missed it.
Yeah. So it depends. So for linear regression, ma'am might have used mol file, something like that. So you have to use that proper data set for specific applications. Okay.
Arun, somebody is asking how to connect with remote server.
Okay, ma'am, let me repeat it again. So now now I'm trying to open the file shared by Asha ma'am. So here I'm doing that. So for example, I want to open simple linear regression model. So I'm just uploading it now. So once if you have uploaded, so now are you able to see that file, simple linear regression?
Hello. Can we also upload it to our drive?
Definitely,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes,
There
ma'am.
is no issues, but you have to open it only in Google
Colab.
Colab for operation. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So now I have opened the file shared by Asa ma'am. So the first thing is you look at the rightmost top rightmost corner. There is an option called as connect. So first you click on it. It will try to connect with the remote Google server. So once it successfully connected it, you see there is a tick mark and then the specification. This is the amount of RAM and disk. So it means you have successfully connected with the remote server. Then you can go ahead and execute the code. So here, in order to execute the code, so you have to click on this play icon. So what we need is, I need one more library to download the dataset from my Google Drive. Okay, so I'm downloading it. So I'm just added this one more library. Okay, so if you click on it, it just executes. If there is no error, all the packages are imported successfully. So in this cell, so you just replace the code of this cell from the previous notebook, ml_day3. Okay, so now I have replaced this cell with my code where you can download the dataset from the Google Drive. Okay, you need not to modify any of the code lines here. Okay, so you just copy paste these code lines from the previous notebook, ml_day3 at this cell, and then you just execute this.
Sir,
Okay.
should we deactivate that mall.head?
Ma'am, it is just a command line. So if you want to see what is there in the content of the file, you can use that just to see that everything is okay. So once if everything is okay, then you can just comment it out. So I just ensure that the file is downloaded properly without any error. So which means now everything is okay. You have this data set in a variable called mol. I think now Asha ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, now I have assigned the data set to this variable mol. So
Okay. So
I,
that data set should be salary.csv.
oh, is that salary.csv? So so I have to copy that one. I'm sorry.
Yes.
So if that is the case, you copy the code lines from the second cell, which imports that salary.csv. I'm just doing that from the parallel tab.
Sir, should we open that simple linear regression now? I have opened
Yes,
only
ma'am.
ML day 3.
Yes, ma'am. Now you have to open.
Simple.
You copy the code lines from the ML_day3 and save it in some file.
Which cell, sir? Which cell we have to copy?
Ma'am, all the 3 cells. Other
All
than the
the-
packages, you
Sir, can you
copy the
please
code.
send it through email also? We're not able to download and forward it to the
Definitely, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. I will
desktop.
forward to you. Yeah, sure. Or I can paste the code in the chat box. I think there will be no issues if I do that.
Again, queries will come, sir.
Yeah, definitely, ma'am. We will explore all the possible ways. Gomati, ma'am.
Tarun?
Ma'am, can you just forward the file?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, and I'll
Okay,
do it. I'll take it to my mail and then forward.
ma'am. Thank you.
Sir, after connecting, it is
Yes,
showing RAM, tick RAM, then what
Yeah,
to
it
do?
means we have successfully connected with the remote server.
Okay. The salary.csv file also should be uploaded, I think.
That's not necessary, ma'am. It will be downloaded from my Google Drive. I have
Okay,
write the
okay.
code such that you can download it from my Google Drive.
Okay. All these num files and all, it's all imported, no? Automatically.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So now I have pasted the code for salary to download
Okay.
the salary.csv. You can see that. So I'm now
Okay.
just executing this.
You will explain
So
the
now
code, sir?
Ma'am, the explanation is very simple. So the first I have just uploaded the dataset to my drive, and then I
Okay.
commonly share the link to everyone to download the dataset. Then
Okay.
I'm using this package gdown to connect with the Google Drive and to request the file. And then I'm using this pandas to read the file and store it in a variable. So Panda is a package where you can manipulate Excel sheets and CSV files. So now the variable salary will contain the data from the CSV file, which you can see from this cell. Asha, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, I think you can go ahead from this point. So do I need to rename the...
That I will. 1 minute, sir. Oh, I have in the chat box, I have given 2 comments. Can you just copy it there?
Yeah, definitely. So in order to create a cell below it, so you just click on this code, so it will create a new cell below it. So I just paste the code. Yes, ma'am, I think it...
Yeah, now the
Just
code will be
execute.
running. Now you can run every code, all the cells.
Okay. Yeah, now I think you can execute all the cells without any issues.
We need not copy all those things, no?
Which things, ma'am?
Whatever, G down, all those things.
Ma'am, you have to ensure all these things are in the first cell. So in importing the libraries, you have to
That is
ensure there
there.
are 4 packages. and
Above
5
that.
methods. Yeah. So first you have to import all these required packages.
Okay.
So you ensure you import all these 4 packages.
Oh, G down also should be imported.
Yes. Only upon successful importation of all these packages only you can execute the
Sir,
cells below.
importing the libraries, you please copy and put it in the chat box. So we will also copy, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, I will copy paste the cell lines as well. So that you need not to download that ML_day3. So you just copy these last 4 lines to your cell and then execute it. So everything is fine now.
Sir, please show me where to copy these last 4 lines, sir. Output salary data dot CSV.
Yes, ma'am. You have to copy these lines. Just see, once if you imported all the necessary packages, you create a new cell by clicking on this one.
Okay,
So
okay,
you
okay.
just click on it, it will create a new cell. Below that cell, you just paste those 4 lines there.
Okay, wait, please wait, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I went down to the last cell and I pasted and run it. Is that okay?
Okay, ma'am. But actually, you have to maintain the flow. So it's not a problem for the time being. Once if you execute it anywhere, it doesn't matter. But you will face the problem if you try to do that.
Okay, now if I have to undo that, what should I do? Should I cut it and paste somewhere? This.
Ma'am, it's not a problem. Once if you have executed it, the variables will be created and it will be stored in the memory. It is not a problem now.
Okay, sir.
You just execute the rest of the lines. So you have to add only 2 more lines as shared by Asha ma'am. So I just repeat it again. So first ensure that you have
Sir, when
downloaded.
we copy it, we are not getting pasting. It is giving link to cell, delete cell, copy cell from the chat box.
Ma'am, you ensure that you have selected the cell properly. Once if you select the cell, it will highlight it. You have inside the cell. So once if you see the cursor is blinking inside the cell, then you just paste it. You can see that now the cursor is blinking, which means I'm inside the cell.
Yeah.
Then you just paste it, it will get pasted.
But it is not doing, sir. Copy.
Ma'am, I think we can work it out later, and also Arun will be available for us to clarify the doubts. Let us see the demo from explanation and the demo from Ashna ma'am now, so that
that we can do.
Yes, ma'am. So the codes when you are doing whatever the problems that we are getting can be resolved by Arun sir in the later part. He will be with us in the FDP for the days for again till the FDP ends. Oh, that's okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I think Ashna ma'am, like you can just now explain the code and explain the complete demo, ma'am.
Okay, okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Arun sir, can you go down? That's splitting the train and test it. Yeah. Okay. So here we can see like there's a library in Python called as sklearn. From that, using that package, we will be importing a function called as train test split. So what it will be doing is it will be splitting our data set into training and testing. Here, for the train and test split, we are giving parameters x, y, which we have defined earlier, and we are giving the test size equal to 1/3, which means like we in our data set we are having 30 values, which means training set contains 20 values and test set contains 10 values. That is meant by test size equal to 1/3. And then we are giving random state equal to 0, which means our data set should be split into train and test set randomly. It will be always good to split train and test set randomly, or else what will happen is if we give the first 20 values, if we are giving it as training set, then the network will be trying to find out some similarity between all these values. So it will be always good to randomly split our data set and give it as test and train set. Then what we will be giving is like we'll be loading our linear regression function. So for that, in the sklearn itself, we have a function called as linear regression. So if you want, you can search in Google sklearn. So we'll be going to sklearn library. In that, we can choose API, and there we can see linear regression. So in that linear regression, it will be showing like what all values should be given as the parameters. And then what we'll be doing is we will be fitting it. Okay, we'll be fitting the network. Regressor dot fit means we are training the network using our training set, that is X train and Y train. So here, when we run the cell, it will our linear regression model is trained, and then in that predicting the test set results, we are predicting the results. So for prediction, we are having a function called as predict. So in that, we will be passing our test set, that is X test, and that values that predicted results will be there in Y predicted. And then now we are plotting our training set results. So for that we are using matplotlib. So matplotlib, initially we have specified, let's import matplotlib as plt, that is why we are specifying it as plt. And then we have a function called as scatter. In that we will be passing the X train and Y train values, and we are specifying the color to be red, so that in the graph we can see like red dots are there. These are the training set values. And then we are plotting our regression line using that regressor dot predict X train. We are using that predict function to like predict on the training set, and finally we will be getting this graph. Similarly, so can you go down? For the test set, that same code we are copying, and the only change which we are making is, instead of X train and Y train, we are making it as X test and Y test. And then we will be plotting it, and hence we'll be getting the test result. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. Then, sir, can you go to the next code, decision tree?
Yes, ma'am. Give me a
Yeah,
moment.
yeah. For decision tree, the data set should be social network ads.
Okay.
Ashna ma'am, I think you're not audible.
Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am. I think you went muted. Yeah. Now you're audible.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so for this decision tree also we are from the sklearn we are like same command we are using sklearn library, we have that train test split. So using that function we will be splitting our data set, and that like how much number should be there for training and testing, that is completely dependent on us. So here I am choosing the test size to be 0.25, so that 25% of the data set will belong to test set and the rest all will be belonging to training set. And here also I am giving random state equal to 0, so that it will be randomly splitting the test and train set. Then if you want to see the data set, we can print and see. That is what is shown in the next column, print X train. So can you go down? Okay, similarly, we can see Y train, X test, and Y test. So what actually happening is like we will be predicting this Y value. So that is what we'll be doing in this decision tree. Okay. So here comes the feature scaling. So in the data set, there are some differences between changes in the values. So what we will be doing is we will be finding the standard deviation and mean. And for each values, then we will be subtracting the mean and dividing by the standard deviation. So for that, in the sklearn, we are doing the pre-processing called a standard scaler. Here for the X train, fit transform means what it will does is it will find the standard deviation and mean for the data set, and then it will apply that formula to the training set. That is, each of that value X value will be subtracted with the mean, and then it will be divided by the standard deviation. That is shown by X train equal to sc dot fit underscore train of X train. In the next in the below command, we have given X test equal to sc dot transform. Here what we are doing is we are applying the formula only. We are not finding the mean and standard deviation for the tested. Instead, we are just applying the formula. And then we can print and see the X train and Y train values. We can see that that value will be always between +3 and -3. Okay. Now for training in the sklearn, we have a decision tree classifier. If you want, you can go and see in that sklearn like API, the decision tree classifier, and in that, if you go and search, you can see like it's just asking for some parameters. So that parameters I'm giving here, which is the criteria, entropy, and random state equal to 0. And then I am training my network using classifier.fit of X train and Y train. Then I'm predicting it for 30 and 8,000, 87,000. So if you see this data set, you can see like for 30 and 87,000 value, that predicted value will be 0. So we are checking whether our data set, like our model is also giving the same result. Then for the complete test set, we are predicting the results, and that is seen here.
Ma'am, what is that entropy?
Okay, entropy is a parameter which we are giving. Like all those specific, like there are many values, like whether we should give entropy or some other parameters that we can choose from the sklearn library. I have simply given it as entropy. Like we can choose whatever we want. Okay, so here in predicting the test results, when we run that cell, we can see like in most of the cases, the first one shows the original one and the second one shows the predicted one. Sorry, first one shows the predicted result, which is predicted by our model, and second values shows the one which is there in the original test set. So here in some cases we can see there is a mismatch, like almost in the middle we can see our model is predicting us 1, whereas that original test set was containing value 0. Yeah, that one. And then what we'll be doing is we'll be plotting a confusion matrix. So in the confusion matrix, what it will be showing is like it is showing some values. Okay, it is showing some values 62, 6, and 329. What it means is like for the Y test, 62, like out of the total number, for 62 values, it is predicting correctly with respect to the test set, whereas for 6 things, it is like misprediction is there. Similarly, for that y prediction, like which was already there in the predicted value, 29 it is predicting correctly, and 3 it is like misclassifying, false positive and false negative. That is shown by the confusion matrix. So it will be always good to plot confusion matrix so that we will be getting an understanding of like how our model is performing. This is decision tree classification. So can you choose k-means algorithm? And the data set is small customers. Oh,
Yes, ma'am, I'm doing it.
okay. So in the k-means algorithm, I have discussed about elbow method. Like we want to know which is the best number of clusters we have to choose. So for that we are using this elbow method. So what we are doing is from sklearn we are importing the k-means algorithm, and then we are creating an empty array called WCSS, and then we are creating a for loop in which that number of like clusters we are giving us 10. We are checking like for the first 10 clusters which is the best number of cluster which should be chosen. So for that we are calling the k-means algorithm, and inside that we are giving the number of clusters as I. Since it is in the for loop, we are giving I so that it will keep on iterating. Then initialization, I have specified about k-means plus plus algorithm. The use of k-means plus plus algorithm is like in k-means algorithm, we have to randomly initialize a centroid. So based on the random initialization, that clusters will be grouped. So the best way is to use this algorithm k-means plus plus, which will be automatically taking care of that random initialization. And then here also we are taking the data set like test and train randomly, and then we are training our data set, and finally when we plot it we are getting a graph like this. And here we can see that 5 is the optimal number of cluster because that elbow shape is ending at cluster number 5. Okay, then then we are training our k-means model, and here we are now giving the cluster number of clusters 5, and then we will be training, and then we will be predicting it on our set. Can you run that, Salsa? And finally, we will be visualizing the clusters. As there are 5 clusters, for each clusters, we are specifying different colors and we are plotting it. And this in the graph, yellow one indicates the centroids. So these were the 3 algorithms which I was liking to discuss with you all. Does anyone have any doubt?
Any queries from the participants?
I think once they work on it, they may get some doubts, so that they'll contact you through mail, I think. Participants,
Okay.
do we have any clarifications or like any doubts from Ashna ma'am to be getting cleared?
No, ma'am, as of now, because it's really nice that she has introduced us to all these things.
Yes, ma'am.
And if we start using this, then we may have doubts, and that time we may be in touch with you.
Yeah,
Thank
sure.
you. Thank you so much.
And Ashna ma'am, somebody's also posted they need to practice first, and once they get doubts, I think they'll be able to ask. Can we
Yeah,
ask
yeah, sure.
after 2 days, ma'am? I think
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
sure.
post your mail ID so that if they need, they may ask you queries, or they can also ask through us. They need your email
Yeah,
ID for contacting, ma'am. Will you be able to provide it there, ma'am?
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
have posted it in the
yeah.
chat box.
So if there are no queries from the participant side, I take this opportunity to thank Ashna ma'am for providing her valuable inputs regarding the machine learning algorithm. So with the hands-on session, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. It was really good experience. I would like to thank everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, bye.